Okay, so it's the holiday season. Dun, 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 dun. So today we're going to be making some oven mitts. I know, it's like, how's this holiday season? Dun, 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 dun. It is though. My middle child, who is my youngest daughter, has requested like doll clothes. This is super sharp. For Christmas. And so, yes, sis got doll clothes, but also I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make her and her doll matching oven mitts. Now, last year during the holiday season, when I was like trying to shop around and make things and stuff like that, I got these two fabrics. This one is like a taco one. It's a dino taco one. So I think I'm going to make my son an oven mitt as well. We'll see. Top priority though is my daughter, who is going to get hers made out of this. How cute is this fabric? Okay, so it's like milk and cookies, and y'all, I love it. So I'm going to be using the Made for Mermaids freebie oven mitt, and we've got the doll size right here, and we've got the kid size right here. So for this project, we're going to, of course, need our fabric. We're going to also need Insul-Bright or the silver lining in order to protect against the heat. And then you're also going to need some batting. And so I'm going to be using this bamboo batting right here that I have. Now, because we're going to need a front and a back piece, we're going to be cutting out two sets, or rather one set of each, because she's only going to get one right now for the sake of this here. So as far as the steps go, it's so fast, so easy. We're going to be going ahead and sorry, I'm trying to put away the rest of my items. So we're going to be cutting out we don't need the Insul-Bright, obviously, for the doll size oven mitt. Why? Because the doll is not going to be doing any cooking. The doll is just simply going to be looking cute. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut out that fabric. After we cut it out, we're going to sandwich together our lining piece. We're going to sandwich together our lining piece, our batting, as well as our Insul-Bright or the silver lining. We're going to quilt it. We're going to do a real simple, real easy little situation there, okay? Now, one of the things that you can do, if you're like, what if I don't actually want to do it in that order? You don't have to. You can always go ahead and quilt your fabric and your what is that stuff called? Batting and your lining first, and then cut it out. It's entirely up to you. I'm just going to do it that way because I only have this much fabric, and I got to be honest, I'm a little nervous about whether or not it's enough. So we're going to go ahead and get set up to cut this out. I'm going to be using my Sew Tights set. I shared this on here during the gifts that everyone needs or every sewist would like. And this is a magnetic mat. Yes, when it was initially sent to me, I was like, this is going to be fantastic for all of my projector sewing. Lo and behold, it's also useful for not projector sewing. So let's go ahead and get started. So because I am who I am, y'all already know that your girl be trying to do things in as many and the least amount of steps possible. So I'm not going to cut out my batting just yet. I am going to go ahead and fold this over so that I have it lined up with 4 pieces here. Let's see, who said good morning? Oh, Terry. Good morning, Terry. I'm over here making your girl some stuff. Okay. So we're going to take the little tiny oven mitt. We're also going to take the other tiny oven mitt because let's be real here, they're both very small. Now this, I actually feel like this here mat is really very cool. So let me see what I can, like, I'm like, I don't want to like move y'all too much and then you guys fall over. Yeah, I think if we do it this way, it'll be fine. Okay, well, okay, so let's see. Okay, everything looks okay. I'll just move this out a little bit more so this can be seen. Okay, so I've got this lined up here, but then again, we've got the magnetic like stitch to hold it down, and now I don't have to worry about it moving as I cut it out. And of course, yes, I'm still using a rotary cutter because long live rotary cutters. And I'm like, these are so small. I have not made the kids oven mitts before. This was a freebie a couple of years ago, and y'all, I still haven't made it yet. Going around these tiny curves though. And yes, I will still always choose my rotary cutter, okay? There we go. All right, so we got this cut out. And of course my kids are home, so don't be surprised if we have some featured guests. Insert one, you may not be in here without clothes on. So no, you do not have on enough clothes to walk into my office right now.
Mommy, do you have that thing with my work on it?
I don't. The desk thing is right there, but you should have actually taken your work with you when you left, girl. So that. Okay. This is the other thing that I love about the sew tights, is because as I move, or like as I need to move like my pieces and stuff around to make it easier for me to cut, that thing is moving too. It's like we go together. Wherever you go, I go. I like it. I am probably gonna whip out a pair of scissors to trim up that last piece because whew, it's so tiny. I'm like trying to get in there. There we go. Boom. Drop that in with the scraps. Okay. So now that we've gotten both of these cut out, now we do need to cut out our batting as well as our insole bright. We also need lining. Cut 2, no, we're good. Because I cut 4, we're self-lining. That's right, forgot about that minor detail because I didn't say it aloud. So let's go ahead and open this up. And so now we've got the silver. So this is not insole bright. This is a silver, like, silver lining stitch that I already had available here. We only need to cut 2 of these, so we're only going to fold this over once. Okay. There we go. So let's go ahead and grab our little pattern pieces again. Oh, that's right, I forgot our doll. Our doll doesn't eat it for what? Because she is not cooking. I mean, I have high hopes that this doll's gonna do something, but the reality is the doll is not gonna do a damn thing. Every time I use these, I just fall deeper in love with them because how cool are they? Gonna move this up a little bit. If I didn't already have this Sew Tight system, I would have definitely asked for this shit for Christmas now that I see how this works. Okay. So now that we've gotten that out, boom. Okay. Put that with our other stuff. And now we just need to cut out our batting. And then we're going to get ready to sew. Okay. Okay, so now I have like this huge bolt of batting. And this thing is rolled over not just once, but twice. So we only need this. That's all we need. Move that to the side. Bring this up a little bit higher. Okay, so here we go. Make sure my computer stays on. Good morning, Jill. Jilly not from Philly. Okay. Put that here. Then we're gonna just add our little dolly size here. I feel like I have more of those. Let me see. I do. So like, even though again I'm not actually cutting, dang, where am I? Lost one of the lost our rotary cutter, y'all. I'm gonna use my handy dandy Tula Pink one. The Tula Pink one, she's been a little on punishment because I feel like every time I change her, I am just gonna cut around this like this. Like her blades, even though she's getting fresh blades, like she's not acting like it. So Tula has been out on punishment. So I'm gonna just take this and just cut it with the scissors because what we don't feel like doing is batting, okay? Certainly not while I have on this holiday sweater because your girl will overheat. Okay, so now we're completely cut out of our tiny oven mitt. And we are going to need some bias tape. You can always make your own bias tape so that it matches. I'm actually saying a prayer that I have some bias tape that is of a coordinating color because, you know, I don't feel like making today. Bias tape. Okay. So let's move that. Now, I'm not an official quilter. Your girl has made a quilter too. But I will say that this bamboo batting, hands down my favorite. I love this. You know, bamboo is a really sustainable fabric. I'm trying to roll it back up. Yeah, my husband came in here. And the reason why I came on live so late is because he was basically like, I'm tired of your office and these messy shenanigans. And he came in and like basically swept my floor and stuff like that. He was like, I'm tired of this. So he cleaned up for y'all. So you all are welcome from him. Not from me because, you know, we show up as we are. All right, so we've got 2 of our main. We have 2 lining. We've got 2 Insul Bright. We've got 2 batting. So now it's time for us to go and sit down and sew. So here we go. One of the things that I got to remind myself to do as I'm sewing live is I gotta turn off like my auto like sleep feature on my computer. Because y'all, why are you sleeping when we clearly need you? So let's go ahead, come on over here to my now like clean like sewing space. Thanks, babe. Open up the window so we can get some light. We aren't vampires. Okay. It's so much light in here now. I'm like, now y'all can't even see me. Okay. So, open widget. We recommend higher. I don't even know what that means. I gotta be honest. It's telling me I should be using a higher bit rate, but maybe it's because of the light. I don't know. It feels like it got mad at me because of the light, so. Copy this video link. Yeah, let's just share it to Facebook. Then we're gonna go. Yep, join me. There we go. And I know that I definitely just shared the live stream. Yeah, and then I shared it and was not even I didn't even feel like I sounded enthusiastic about what we were doing over here. Okay, so we're over at Brenda, my B590. Someone asked us during the podcast, and they were just like, do you really love your Bernina? And I was like, yes, absolutely. Cannot fake the love of my Bernie. And then Jill saw me over here tussling with a faff machine and was like, girl, don't do it to yourself, because why would you? All right, so we're gonna start off with our tiny little oven mitts. So again, we're gonna go ahead. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna quilt. Nothing fancy, okay? So in my opinion, you can go about this one of two ways. You can either just quilt, and I'm gonna do it this way for this glove, because why? Because this doll is not going to be able to feel anything. You can go ahead and sandwich your lining piece, your batting, and your top piece together. Quilt that. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm just going to be making some lines. So let me lower this and lower my camera angle so that you guys can see. So I'm literally just going to be doing some diagonals, straight line stitching, simple as that. Like as soon as I can find my foot. Here we go. So and if I was like, dare I say, caring about like kind of what this looked like, I would have possibly measured this out so that all of my lines, you know, were like the same. But y'all, it's for a doll, it'll be fine. But if you're like a stickler for lines and things like that, you should go ahead and use the erasable pens. If you're like, hey girl, what erasable pens? You're talking about this like you've talked about this before, because I have. So you can use the erasable pens that I listed as part of great holiday presents for people who sew. And you can draw in your lines or whatever design that you want to do for your quilting. Now the Berninas, they come with a BSR. So I could freehand some quilting designs. But again, we're together for a good time, not a long time. Okay, and then we're just gonna go ahead and just add one more like little stitch line to the thumb. Okay. And so this is what our like little quilted mitt is looking like. It's so tiny. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing on this other little mitt. We're gonna completely construct this tiny mitt together because like once we do this, we're basically done. At least with this one, because we're only gonna be quilting one direction. Okay. And yeah, I have no idea why I started going this direction to quilt it. Like, judge someone else, okay? Now I'm really wishing that I had enough to like make a little apron to match. Oh, that would be so cute. I'm gonna switch it around because I feel like it's ridiculous the way that I was in it before. So I have like a bunch of, not a bunch, but I definitely have like 2 or 3 quilt tops that I've made that need to be quilted. And yeah, every time that I do the quilting for these oven mitts, because I've made quite a few of them over the years, just not the dolly size, I'm just like, yeah, I cannot believe that people sit in like so straight lines like this. One day it might be me. That is like literally on my 2024 list of things to do. Your girls really got to finish these quilt tops. They've got to be done. They got to get out of my like work in progress hanging area. Okay. So now this little mitt is finished as well. So I'm going to just put these 2 sides together. And again, because it's self-lined, I'm not saying that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter. So I'm keeping a 1/4 inch seam allowance around. So one of the gifts that I had listed on my like gift list that like for sewists or whatever was an awl. Yeah, I ordered one for myself yesterday. I'm gonna backstitch this like little area here, not because I think this doll's gonna be over here taking it off and on, but because whatever, kids can be rough. Like, kids are super rough. Okay, so now I have gone ahead and I picked up my shears, my pinking shears, because I am just gonna trim it down a little bit. just for neatness, right? And because, listen, kids will really be the ones to be like pointing out if you did something like right or wrong or good or bad, right? Your kids will be the ones to be like, ooh. So I don't want her to be like, like my Dolly's mitt is. Like, sis, come on now. Anyway, okay, so now that we've done that, I am going to just make sure that this, like, even though, again, I know that her thumb is not going in here, your girl can't help but do things the right way. So I did just trim that down. Now our, like, little oven mitt is ready to flip. Ugh. Why are the kids stuff, tiny stuff so hard? Okay, so we've got our tiny mitt. And the only thing that's left to do, of course, is to put in our bias tape, obviously, so that she can hang her mitt whenever she needs it, I suppose. Let's trim down these outer threads, though, because we don't want her walking around looking like Threaderella. Okay. Now, if you don't have long nails, then definitely use like a chopstick or something else to go ahead and push it so that your seams are like really pushed out. You can always use a tweezer. They work really well. Just making sure that things are snipped down. Okay. Okay, and our tiny oven mitt, I can't stand how cute this is. It is very cute. Okay, so our tiny oven mitt is done. Jilly, whenever you decide to get to quilting, girl, let me know so I can send you my stuff too, okay? All right, so now let's go ahead and get started with Aurora's oven mitts. Okay, so for hers, we need to make sure that we layer this properly. So we've got, and I'm gonna do hers the exact same way, y'all. So obviously we're gonna have to add in our Insole Bright here as well. So I'm going to put the Insole Bright on, I feel like it should be on the inside. Let me see what these directions say, y'all. Okay. Because I think that this does matter. Okay, here we go. General directions. Okay, I love this. Okay, so it's against the wrong side of the lining fabric. Okay, got it. So we're gonna layer it wrong side against this side. And so I'm actually gonna go ahead, okay, so maybe I'm not gonna label that because I'm like, where are all of my marking pens? Like this, and then like this. So I'll be able to tell which side is which. So the way that we have it layered is we've got our lining piece, our Insole Bright, our batting, and then our outer piece, okay? Now, this one I am going to go ahead and pin this together. Why? Because y'all, like, this Insole Bright, the silver stuff is very, very slippery. And I want it to stay in place. I don't want this thing to be moving around, okay? So actually, let me go ahead and clip it into place first. Like along this bottom area. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, this is not my favorite thing in the world. Because y'all, adding extra steps in, I really am like, Pick somebody else to do it. I was thinking about making some for my dad too, because he loves to cook, and I was going to make him some like Ankara ones. I thought that would be really cool because my dad is very much so into like Black history, Black culture, and so I think that having like a custom pair of oven mitts, like Ankara oven mitts, might be a good thing for him. He might be like, yeah, that's my jam, I love that. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead. So I'm just re-clipping things so that it's holding them together. I'm hoping that this is enough. I'm going to pop this in here just to kind of see, just to make sure that it stays in place. If it doesn't, then I'm gonna come back and pin it together. And so just like with our Dolly mitt, we're gonna go in a little diagonal stitch. We're gonna just test it out and see, because I normally use something different. Dare I say what I normally use is a little bit easier. And then I'm wondering if maybe if I just like do them in some key areas, if that'll just kind of hold things together a little bit better. We'll see. We live and we learn, right? Okay.
Are you gonna be able to wear these?
Can you go and turn on some hot water for mommy?
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. Okay. So right now I have done it on just a couple of the, like literally in, this will be my my fourth spot. And now I'm gonna go back and do it more. We'll finish quilting. Our spots are not going to be obviously as small as they were for the other one. So we're doing 1 inch, essentially 1 inch quilting lines. And I'm lining it up at the bottom of my, you know, where they have the stitch lines and stuff like that. Okay.
You got your water lining.
Thanks, girl. Okay. So I think I moved to like a 3/4 inch instead. Okay, so I feel like my camera is shaking a little bit. I'm so sorry. Hey, Aurora, can you close my door for me, honey? Thank you. There we go. There we go. Yeah, quilters really be just sewing straight lines, man. Of course, it's way longer than this, but okay. And so I'm gonna just hit this with one more. Because any other one is gonna be in that seam allowance, and we're just not gonna bother with it. But this came out rather well. Let's go ahead and do our next one. And I do think that I made it easy for me to be able to tell which side is which. The most important thing though is to make sure that like I line this one up the right way now, so that the insole bright is on the inside or up against the lining piece of both of them. So I liked the idea of clipping it together once everything is lined up. That worked well for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip this together as well, starting at the wrist area. And I feel like once the wrist area is lined up, everything else just lines up way easier. Okay. Can I just go ahead?
Mommy?
Yes, ma'am.
Your hot tea is done.
Okay, thank you. So live sewing is my favorite thing, but I do not like live sewing when my kids are home. Because I feel like this is like, I don't know, like this is like not sacred space, but like, you know, protected time. And my kids will be like, why aren't you paying me attention? And I'm like, because I'm over here sewing. I'm building an audience. Give me a break. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna start from this thumb area. Yeah. Lift this up. There we go. So I'm gonna go from my thumb to the corner. And I'm like, that's gonna be our our stitch that kind of holds things in place for us. Yeah. There we go. I think my favorite thing about making these is absolutely the finished product. And even though I've like definitely teased about these straight lines, sometimes doing them is really just like really relaxing, you know? Like it's very calming, it's very soothing, you know, it's like it's only straight lines, so I know what's expected. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this like area by my thumb got a little jacked up, but it's a thought that counts, right guys? I definitely should have used my my pens that I was telling you guys about to draw these on here, but we're here now. We're here now. I'm gonna flip it over. Yeah. You know how like you do things one way and that just feels right? That's what it's feeling like going through here. One of the things that I do want to get better at is quilting, but quilting in a way that I don't want to say it's like the right way, because I feel like when it comes to creating, there isn't really a right versus a wrong way, unless you're doing something like this where you do have to make sure that you know, tiny hands stay protected, right? But I would really like to get better at quilting and making it so that my fabric does not move or bunch up while I'm quilting, you know? And I'm sure that that is like really done with using a lot more like pins and being that much more detail oriented. So that might be something that your girl works towards. Do just this one last one. And then I really need to see like what, if I have some black, it'll be great. Okay, so let's see what side. This is our Insel Bright side. So is this. All right, so let's go ahead and put these two together. Not sure what they are making inside of my kitchen. Sounds very, very loud though. Can we make a little less noise in here?
I know, I'm done.
Thank you.
I made myself a smoothie.
Okay. I had to ask them to just quiet it down just ever so slightly. What I will say is going around that thumb, you got to really go slow to make sure that you can catch and make it so that it actually legit looks like it's round. I feel like my Dolly one could have used some work, but okay, so now we've got to figure out our bias situation. And I do want to just make sure, yep, everything is looking good here. So we're going to trim it down. And I'm not going to lie, this little oven mitt is the cutest thing in the world. are. This is so cute. So I am gonna make my son his oven mitt because I can already hear, Mommy, how come Robert gets an oven mitt? And listen, when you have kids and there's multiples of them, not necessarily twins or anything like that, but you just got more than one child, listen, the path of least resistance is often the best one. Okay, so this one is done and ready to flip. So we're gonna go ahead and flip it. But I am gonna trim down this wrist area a little bit just to make sure that it lines up as well as it could. One of the things that can be a little harder to work with when it comes time to making these oven mitts is the turn of cloth. And if you're not familiar with what turn of cloth is, it is like kind of like that thickness of the fabric, and how it affects like the seams and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and turn this out. And to make this, I definitely did make my stitches a little bit smaller. For construction, I normally sew with a stitch length of 2.5. I did lower that to 2. In my head, it makes a difference. I don't actually know if it does, but I just wanted to make sure that, oh, I see so many threads to snip. I gotta snip these as I go or I get overwhelmed by them. I do. But I did lower my stitch length simply because I want to make sure that, you know, we're kind of keeping out as much heat as we can. Yeah, as much heat as we can. Okay. Yeah, these oven mitts are showing the real big difference in between the size of my hand and the size of a kid's hand. I do think that I might need to snip that thumb. No, it's fine, okay. I'm currently trying to poke out my thumb with my nails. So if you're like, Aaronica, if we don't have nails, what are some tools that we can use? So there's this. And this comes in a bunch of different colors. You can get it from Amazon. You can get it from most like quilt shops and things like that. And it will help to press your seams out, kind of giving you the look that you need, especially if you're doing something where you want really sharp corners. So I'm gonna use it in this thumb area because I'm like, I feel like my thumb is not coming out. I'm like, we've got the potential to be a little bit cuter. Okay, so I do think that I need to cut this thumb down some. But like, I see the stitch, so we're gonna leave it be. Gonna leave it be for right now. I tell you what though, like trying to do things with your hand when you're making something for a much smaller hand, little hard. Little hard. Okay. Look at that. This is so cute. Okay, this thumb area is definitely going to be the death of me, though. All right, so now we've got to see what bindings that we have on hand so that we can just quickly add that to our little oven mitts. So we're going to go and check into, let's see. Again, if I could just have black, wait, let's see. Oh, this blue, never mind. I feel like this blue is it. but I don't know if it's going to be as thick as I would like for it to be. So we're gonna pull it out as an option. These are the pens that I was talking about. Okay, I'm like, where are the rest of... Not in there. So I'm gonna let that go. Let's see. What's this? I think this is it. Nope. Yeah, we might end up going with this. Just simply because we have it. Let me just check. Let me check one more place. Let me check one more place. There was a period of time where I had so much bias tape, it was ridiculous. Apparently that period of time is gone. I really would like it to be this thick. Oh, I got this yellow too. Okay, so we have a couple of different options. No black, but we've got some options. So let's take a look at our options. So our oven mitt, we've got this yellow. I kind of like the contrast of the yellow. Here's the green. I do think I like that green as well, but I also feel like the blue is the best. But again, I don't know if I feel like fighting with bias tape today. So we might do this tiny blue on the smaller oven mitt, and then I think we're gonna do this yellow for hers. I feel like that's really where we're gonna go, because yeah, I like that. So to measure it, I'm doing this with a little bit of overlap. And then I also need to, I don't know why I use that. And then I also need to cut a small piece to make our little loop, because we're gonna have a loop that hangs. So here is our loop piece. And so I'm actually gonna just fold this over one more time like this. And then I'm gonna fold it up to make our tiny loop. And so I'm going to put the loop, whoa, book fell. So I'm gonna put the loop right here. Not exactly on the seam, but like in that vicinity. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to sew my bias tape together, because the way that I'm gonna sew this, y'all, hands down, probably the laziest way that you could do this. Let's take this off. We no longer need this big piece. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to open up my seams. And I do want my seam to match with the seam of here. So I'm going to take this off. And I'm just going to fold this down. And I am going to go ahead and reclip the area that I had my my loop in, just so that it can stay just like that. We're just going to fold this out and fold this around. And I am going to go ahead and clip it again on the other seam. I am someone who likes to go seam to seam. Like, that is big to me. I like how that looks. And so because this bias tape is the double wide, I'm going to be stitching as close to the edge as I possibly can. So yes, a little edge stitch. I'm like, it's not wide enough to fit around like the whole little arm thing. So we're gonna hit that loop, not last, but just so that you guys can see what I'm doing. There we go. And so I'm gonna just go ahead. This is not the prettiest part of the process, is what I'm gonna say. Okay. So now we're gonna move our stitch, like our needle point over. I have it at -5 right now because I want it to be very, very close to the center. I mean to the edge. I almost feel like I should have like left one side, like one side seam open so that I could do this. And I think I'm gonna actually open up the side seam of this tiny oven mitt, because y'all, not fighting with tiny oven mitts today. Okay, so again, I just wanting this to be on here nice and snugly. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did not get as close to the edge as I would have liked to. Okay, and so her oven mitt is now done. Very cute. But what we're not going to do, because yeah, I just could not see myself stressing myself out over a tiny oven mitt. I'm going to open up one of these side seams and then reclose it. Also, because it's not like she's going to be wearing this, you know? So just gonna, let's see, where's my seam ripper? Also, I know that a lot of people do not like to use their seam rippers. Use your seam ripper, okay? Especially if it's a really good one. My favorite seam ripper is the Bernina one. And that's not because I'm a brand ambassador with them. It is simply because it is literally the best seam ripper in the world. So for this one, we are gonna go ahead with our tiny bias tape. Pop this in here. This is where that awl would come in handy, y'all. I need an awl. Where is my awl? To just go ahead and make sure that this was done correctly. Okay, so we're gonna, let's see, because like, I think it's that my lazy way is not gonna work, and that's fine. Sometimes the lazy way is not the most efficient way, and many people who practice lazy sewing tendencies, we're just trying to make it so that it's more efficient. Sometimes it's just not, and that's okay. Just joking, just joking. I'm like, it's like an inch, it'll be fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the way that you would normally do by bias, which is of course stitching in to the first indentation that is on here. I can't believe I'm doing all this extra work for a doll who's not going to wear this glove. Like, this is what y'all really be doing. Not y'all, obviously, but this is what people really be doing. Like, sewing for their dolls and stuff. So I almost suggested to my daughter, like, hey, maybe you should just make your doll some clothes, because I gifted her a sewing machine, just not for any particular reason, just because. But that has not worked out to be fruitful. And I think I actually might just take her sewing machine to be like a travel sewing machine for me. Alright, so we got that done, that first part. There we go. So now let's go ahead, flip this out, do our other stitch now that we know that it's on. Gonna go ahead and use this clip that one in place, and then let's just go ahead. I really cannot believe people really love doing this. But then again, there is a hobby for everyone, y'all. There is. But I think it's just like sewing tiny stuff is just not my favorite thing. When you're sewing tiny things, you really have to pay attention. You have to go slow. And I don't want to say that's not for me, but I'm also saying that might not be my favorite thing in the world. Will I do it? I mean, obviously for the right reason. Yes, the right reason, of course, being my babe. Alright, so that's done. Now let's go ahead and reclose our little thing back up. Oh, but you know what we should have done? It's fine. It is fine. Hashtag doing too much. Doing the most with the least. Let's hit it with a back stitch. And we'll cut it here. Okay, and I think we are going to trim it off because we have standards even for our dolls. Okay. Let's flip this back. Okay. Okay, this is so damn cute. So cute. Okay. So if you're looking for a cute gift for a child who still plays with their dolls, highly recommend this like little doll glove situation. Okay. Let's go back over here so that we can make it so that y'all can really see. Here we go. So we've got our big and little glove. I'm not gonna lie, this is super cute. So yeah. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me. Actually, let me go ahead and check the comments. Oh wow, so I have this solar powered charger, and yes, the sun powers it and charges it. And I just looked at it without remembering that, you know, of course I have it sitting out in the sun, so of course it's going to like be doing its thing. But yeah. Good morning, Amani. Ooh, what gifts are you sewing? Jill says, I believe kids should see their parents in their work environment to develop an appreciation for hard work. Plus, you know, I love the nieces and nephews popping in. Truth. Good morning, Camille. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Aisha. Thank you. Okay, friends. So that is it. This morning, as a reminder, we did go ahead and sew a kitty oven mitt along with a dolly oven mitt for my daughter and her doll, because she said that's what she wants. She wants some dolly stuff. So there she has it. Thank you so much for joining me for day number 19 of Vlogmas. I hope that you're enjoying this content. Very, very excited because this content has led to my channel being monetized. If you're like, what does that mean? That means that if you look down below, there will be like a little thing that you can say, buy like a superstar or something along those lines. And that is one way to support me on this channel. The other ways, of course, are just watching so that I can hit the next monetization status, or encouraging others to do the same. So thanks so much for all those of you who consistently show up. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, as well as encourage others to subscribe. And I will check you all tomorrow.